Well, I wasn't expecting this to be back in the garage anytime soon. What we have here is my XR500, which I just recently sold to a really stand-up guy. Unfortunately, 15 minutes into his enjoyment of the new bike, it lost compression. I tried to guide him through kicking it over, thinking it was just, getting used to kicking over the XR500, and that wasn't it. So I had him bring it over for me to take a look at it, just so I could see if there was something I could fix. Turns out the decompression arm that actually goes in, holds the valve down, was broken in two. We got that out, but unfortunately it still doesn't have compression. So I think it might have a stuck valve, but what we have to do is we have to pull the entire engine out of the bike to check. So the guy was a real trooper, and he actually still wants the bike if I can, manage to get it running and fixed and all of that. I give him back his money, he gave me back my title, and so this is my bike again, and we're gonna go ahead and fix it up. This engine weighs about as much as I do, or at least that's what it looks like. So this will probably be more of a controlled fall onto that tire than a drop. Power stance. Alright, new plan. So according to the manual, I have to rock the engine forward, and that should give me enough clearance to be able to get it out. I moved the jack over here, so hopefully I don't just drop it on the ground. I got the tire here in case I need to put it down immediately. Let's try this. This needs to go forward. The clearance I need is just one of these valve covers. So I'm going to pull one of these valve covers off. Aha. Well, that's better. Back a bit. Okay. The bottom of this engine is not flat. It's a slight miscalculation on my part. There we go. engine's out. Huzzah! Just years of dirt and oil just mixed in there. Ugh. First things first, we're gonna get the spark plug out and see if that can tell us anything. I couldn't get this out when it was in the bike because I needed one of these super slim spark plug sockets. These are super cheap. I got them on Amazon. They're atrocious, but they were like 14 bucks, so can't really complain. Good news is it's not destroyed. There's not, you know, parts of the piston all over it. It's not missing the electrode. And it looks to be decently rich, so not too bad. The next thing we're going to do is take this oil line off since it's connected to this top cover. Alright, next we got to set the engine to top dead center, which we can do by finding the timing mark in here. There's a T, and we can use the bolt in here to spin the crankshaft around to get there. Now we can crisscross our way around these bolts so we can pull this top cover off. Just want to make sure we want to spread out the load evenly here. Looks like we have a random 10 mil. All of these are all 8s, and then there's like a 10 over here. So we did that one. Looks like I forgot one. Didn't realize this was one of them, but so I don't know what this is, but it was just chilling right here by the valve that I suspected to be open. So I wonder if this is our culprit right here. I don't know what it's from. I'm gonna have to look into this, see where this came from. But I think that might have been what was preventing this from closing all the way. Doesn't appear to be any damage up here. The camshaft looks fine. Like all of the valves, nothing, no dropped valves at all. Very curious. Okay, I figured out what that little rod was, and I don't think it was our problem. It's from the decompression lever here. So I don't think it would just drop out on its own. I'll have to double check. Maybe it did. But because the decompression lever broke, and I pulled that out, maybe this came out because it wasn't being held in by that lever. Let me see. Yep, that just went right down into the engine. So unfortunately that little metal rod did make its way down and is locking up the cam chain. So what we're going to have to do is take off the side cover here, get to it, pull it out. Hopefully it's pretty easy. It looks like it's away from the clutch, so I might just be able to pop this open and get it out. But we're going to find out right now. Alright, let's see if we can get this thing off. It's covered in RTV, so it's probably going to be a bear. Also not sure if I have to take the oil pump housing off. Let's take that off real quick, see what's under there. Thought that was the oil pump. It's the oil filter housing. See, I threaded this on a little bit to see if I can just tap it out a little bit. Keeping gobs of RTV. There's our boy right there. This little piece of shit. No real discoloration, other than, I mean, clearly somebody couldn't find a gasket, and I probably won't be able to either. I hate RTV though. Oh, hey. It's a tiny little O-ring. Wonder where that goes. It's cleaner than most dirt bikes that I tear apart. I think it was rebuilt at some point. Pretty cool. Anyway, let's get back to the top. This next part sounds like kind of a nightmare. I have to take this dowel out for the cam chain tensioner. And then I guess I need to remove this bolt. What? Alright, so this spins where that dowel was. 83 to 86, remove the dowel pin. So I guess I can pull this out. If I try and loosen this. There we go. Remove the dowel. Thread in a bolt. There we go. There we go. And then it says I shouldn't try and reach my fingers down there, which I don't want to be anywhere near this thing, judging by how tense that thing is. Cam chain tensioner is under spring tension. As the tensioner is removed from the cylinder, the spring will snap but will not fly out. It is captured in the tensioner. Do not put your fingers down into the cylinder cavity, as they may get cut by the spring. So how am I supposed to get that out if I'm not reaching into the cylinder cavity? I don't want to mar the surface in here, but I think if I give it a nice little shove. Nope. It's already like falling off to one side. Alright, we got some movement there. Movement. I really don't want this thing to spring and like blow my hand off. I don't want to pry against that surface either. There we go. That should be enough to... It's like I don't want my hands anywhere near the spring. Well, that was highly uneventful. And they made this thing sound like it was going to take my head off. Now I can get this Johnny out. This should really be done before the cam chain tensioner is removed. I don't know why the manual says to do the opposite way. Because now this is a pain in the butt to take off. I did not like that. Did not like that one bit. Camshaft is moving around. That is not the way to go about that. Ooh, almost dropped that bearing. Alright, we're finally getting down to the point where I can rip the head off. So I'm just going to take these bolts off here. Next, I guess I got to pull this plug out. Why wouldn't it be easy? There we go. And then we can take, what is that, 4, 6 bolts out. Alright, this is the moment I've been waiting for. I'm going to pull the head off. Probably going to need some taps. Oh, oh. That came right off. Oh, lost the dowel. I think the most telling thing though is right here. The piston definitely kicked the valve, and it looks like it did it a couple other times too. I don't know if these have grooves for the valves in them, but that one definitely hit a valve. So we're gonna look at that valve, it's probably bent. So yeah, you can see at some point it looks like all 4 valves made contact with the piston, unless it was actually cut for a little bit of a relief. That looks fresh though. And I think that's because when the decompression arm broke, it kept the valve down and the valve just tapped the piston and probably bent the valve, which is probably why we don't have any compression. Let's rotate this down and see what the cylinder wall looks like. The cylinder actually looks perfect. There's one tiny little mark here. I can't hang a nail on anything though. It is slick as glass in there. So that's good. I think all we're gonna have to do is do some head work. So let's take a look at the bottom side of that head and see if we can find the valve. It looks like the right exhaust valve that got hit by the piston. Alright guys, here's the smoking gun. If you can see, that's the valve that smacked the piston, and it's tweaked enough that it's not closed, and that's where all of our compression is going. This exhaust valve actually looks like it's not entirely seating as well. The intakes look okay. I mean, I would expect a little bit better of a seal. I mean, this is an ancient bike, so I don't really expect much. That's our biggest problem. Slightly less of a problem, but probably still a problem. And then we'll have to check these. I'm going to bring this to Teddy at Boyko tomorrow and see what he thinks. I know XR's only sells the valves, I believe, so hopefully it won't be too bad to get this back together. Like I said, the piston looks great other than a couple of scoring marks in the top from where the valve smacked. But yeah, I think we might be able to get away with cleaning up the head, replacing either one or both of these, potentially these two, hopefully not. I know these things are kind of expensive. I think these are like $50 a piece, so I don't want to go crazy. Plus disassembly and, you know, grinding and cleaning all this stuff up. Yeah. So I'm going to end the video here. That's our diagnosis for what's wrong with the XR500. Luckily, it's not a ton of damage. There's no metal shavings anywhere in the engine. Cylinder looks great. Piston looks pretty good. The internals look amazing. Like, overall, I'm super pleased with how well this bike looks on the inside for being, what, 37 years old? It's insane. So, next time I'll catch you up on what happens with the head, where we can go from there. Hopefully once we get that back from Teddy, I can slap this all back together and get it to its new owner, who's sorely missing it. He had a lot of fun for 15 minutes and then not so much fun. It's a late one tonight. I think it's like 1 o'clock right now. I'm gonna head to bed. Thanks for hanging out with me in the garage. If you want to check out more of this, hit that subscribe button. Throw me a like if you like the video. Comments down below as always. I'm sure everybody will tell me what I did wrong and what I can do better next time. I love that stuff. Helps me learn. Helps everybody as a community. So thank you again for everybody that participates in that. Like I said, thanks for hanging out with me in the garage, and I'll see you on the next one.